What is going on? In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys 10 tips that I personally use for the best academic success. So throughout my whole first year at Ohio State, I've gotten a 4.0 during my fall and spring semester, taking 16 and 15 credit hours respectively. I would give those classes or that schedule a 7 or 8 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. It wasn't 18 credit hours with all of the hardest classes, but it definitely wasn't a cakewalk either. And so I just want to get you guys set up because I know a lot of you are around my age, whether you're going to be an incoming freshman, whether you're going to be a sophomore, or maybe wrapping up. But hopefully throughout this video, you'll find some sort of tip or trick that really helps you out in getting the most out of your education. Today's gonna be very, very discussion heavy, so if that's not something that interests you, then feel free to click off. I don't want to bore you guys, but let's go ahead and just get right into it. So number one is to be prepared with the proper school supplies. You want to have everything. Like, you want to have a backpack, you want to have a laptop or a tablet or pencil and paper. Just have everything you need for a class. Like, if you need to run a certain program, so you need a computer, then get yourself a computer. If you need to go to Target and get yourself some folders and planners and pencils and papers, then get what you need. Like, you will succeed best when you are not limited by your tools. For me, I always have my MacBook Pro and my iPad Pro with me, and I always have in my folder like 5 to 10 sheets of loose leaf paper in case I need a paper, and then I always have a pen and pencil in my pocket. So just making sure you're equipped with the proper tools will get you the best success during class and during your academic year. Go to Target, go to Amazon, go wherever you need to, and get the school supplies and be ready for the first day, apart from your textbooks. Actually, quick note on that. Do not buy your textbooks before school starts. Almost always, the professors will not expect you to have the textbook right when you walk in the first day of class. They will tell you, hey, you need this textbook, go buy it. Or hey, you don't need this textbook. Or hey, you don't need to buy a new textbook, you can buy a used textbook. Or vice versa. They will tell you you need a new textbook because it comes with the homework code, and without the homework code, you can't do homework. So buy all your school supplies except for your textbooks. Tip number 2, go to every lecture and take quality notes. Going to class is only half the battle in terms of learning. Literally, let's say worst case scenario, you can just come into class really tired with your breakfast or your lunch or whatever, and then just basically pass out and tune out. You're not going to learn that way. You want to go to class and you want to learn how to take quality notes. You want to figure out what's important and you want to take those down, and you just want to be attentive. And I think throughout the entirety of my freshman year, I only missed 2 classes, and 2 of those were recitations, and it was because of something I had to miss. But other than that, even if I was a little sick or if it was cold or whatever, I came to every single lecture, recitation, and everything, and that helped me get the grades that I wanted. I'll also be making a video that I actually already recorded. I'm recording this out of order, but I'll be coming out with a video on how to take notes and what to take notes with and all that sort of general field. So I'm just brushing over that because there'll be a follow-up video. Tip number 3, know how the class is graded. So if possible, read the syllabus before the first day of class. So for my film class, for example, I knew that there was 3 papers, each being worth 25% for 75% total. I knew that there was a weekly homework assignment worth 10% of my final grade, and I knew that attendance was worth 15%. Figure out what is most important. If you can miss one tiny discussion post and it's worth less than 1% of your final grade, well then don't stress about it. But some midterms, like I remember my math midterm, my midterm 3 was worth 25% of my final grade, and my final exam was worth 35% of my final grade. So just the last 2 tests within the last 3 weeks was worth 60% of my whole grade. So if I missed like 3 or 4 questions on one tiny math assignment, it was worth literally almost next to nothing. So just know how the class is graded and base it around that. So figure out what's important, what do you need to score high on, what's not important, or what'll just help you learn the best for that assignment if it's worth a high percentage value. Tip number 4, manage your time efficiently. So you can't go to school and get a 4.0 while partying every weekend. I feel like someone needed to hear that. And if it's you, Too bad. Learn how to manage your time. So figure out how much you need to sleep, how much you need to eat, how much you need to go to the gym, how much do you need to study, how much do you need to go to class, and how much you need to work, etc., etc. Just maybe get a calendar out, like an hourly calendar for a week, and just plan it out. Just figure out that, like, okay, I can do this and that and get 8 hours of sleep. I can do this and that while picking up this shift. I can go to class and then I can go to the gym right after. Just manage your time efficiently and set your priorities straight. Like, is it really worth partying every Friday night if you have a midterm on Monday that you could really study for? Like, this is really a gimme, but it's hard to actually practice it. People know to manage your time efficiently, but I can't stress it enough that knowing that you need to do it is different versus actually doing it. So just learn how to manage your time and manage it in a way that will make you feel healthy and that will make you get the best grade possible. Tip number 5, it is to study, study, and study. You need to study to get an A. There are very few classes that I've heard of, and there's only one class I've had where I did not need to study or I've had to do minimal studying. For me, that was photography, just because I knew the ins and outs of the exposure triangle and I knew about my camera, so I didn't need to study as much. But you have to study. You can actively study while learning in class. If you actually take notes while knowing what they are talking about, that's studying. You can learn while studying at the same time. If you need to study by yourself in a library, do that. If you need to study with a group, do that. For example, for my chemistry class last semester, the professor held a 1-hour study session together every Saturday from like 2 to 3 or something like that, where he did a review and he answered any questions. Figure out what works best for you. Do you need to be in your dorm? Do you need to be in a library? Do you need to be with a group of people? Do you need to be by yourself? Just figure out what is the best study habits and do it. You need to study to get an A. That is almost always the case. Tip number 5, it is to eat and sleep healthily. So I'm not saying to go on an insane diet, but I would recommend eating some decent foods or something that isn't horribly unhealthy for you. Because when I eat healthy, I'm also mentally healthy, and that gets me ready throughout the day, and it gets me ready for classes and for studying and for test taking and everything. And then also just sleeping right is also very important. I almost never prioritize anything higher than sleep. If I need to hang out with someone, if I need to study, if I need to do an assignment, if it's late night and I need to get 8 hours of sleep, I will go to sleep, because I would rather go to sleep early and get the sleep and be ready for the next day than to stay up for an assignment that was worth less than 1% of my final grade, which that ties back into in terms of time management and knowing how the class is graded. You got to figure out what do you need to do and what do you need to study, what will get you ready for the next day, what will get you ready for the whole class and everything. You need to look at everything from a small picture and a big picture at the same time, and I find that being able to sleep properly really helps contribute to everything. Tip number 7, enjoy your personal time. So figure out what you like to do. So for me, I like going to the gym and I like working. I feel very productive when I go to work and I feel like I've done something. So figure out what that is for you. If it's knitting, if it's video games, if it is whatever it is, schedule some time to have some personal time to where you can feel sane. You can feel like, I'm still able to enjoy my personal life. It's not like college has completely consumed me. So even though I'm telling you to do this, and that, make sure that you have X amount of time, as much as you need in a healthy way, whether it's half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. Don't go overboard and just say, my personal time is 8 hours a day, because that's obviously unrealistic. But just figure out how much personal time can you fit in while feeling sane and while still enjoying life? Because after all, that's what college is for. It's for getting you ready for your career, getting you ready for life, so that way you can possibly enjoy it in a better fashion. I accidentally skipped over tip number 8 when I was recording the original video, but tip number 8, it is to make strong and positive habits. One thing that stuck with me was when my 8th grade choir teacher said to the class, practice makes permanent, and I find that to be so true. When you practice something, whether it's positive, neutral, or negative, it becomes a habit. So practice doing the good stuff. Practice making good studying habits, eating habits, mental thinking habits, all that sort of good stuff, and keep doing that so that way it feels like a lifestyle rather than obligation. And then phase out all the negative stuff in your life that you can sort of cut out. So cut out eating X food, cut out this studying habit that doesn't work, cut out all the negative stuff in your life and implement positive stuff and make it a lifestyle, and that will help you be more successful not only in your academic life but also just in your life in general. Step number 9, we're getting close, and that is to have a growth mindset. You need to know that your potential is limitless. You do not have a fixed amount of intelligence, and you are not going to be limited by anything, whether it's your family, your financial background, your personal life. You can do whatever you want as long as you set your mind to it. So don't think, I'm dumb, I can't get anything higher than a B. That's not true. You can get an A. And don't think, my family's holding me back, like because of my parents, I can't do this. That's also not true. Things can be more difficult because of certain situations and predicaments, but you can always do your best and you can always find a way to get out of it and to get the best academic success. So just have that mindset where you know that you can do anything you want. You just have to plan it and you have to schedule it and you just have to know how to attack it. You need to set those steps out and just know that you are a great person and you are a bright person and you have so much potential. So just have a growth mindset and just know that you can get a 4.0 if you want. You can get a Lamborghini in the future if you want. You can be insanely rich or insanely intelligent. Just know that there are steps for you to take to do whatever it is that you want. And then finally, step number 10, which sort of ties into step 9, it's find your motivation. Why are you in college? Now, don't think about it as my parents made me go to college or because I feel like that's the social norm. Like, figure out why are you in college and what is it you're doing it for? So for me, for example, it is so that way in the future I can have a nice home and a nice family and to be able to live comfortably and to live out my parents' dream of having a better life for me and my sister. Figure out what is it that gets you going and keep that with you. While you're in class, just think about like, this will help me out towards getting an internship. This will help me out towards getting a career. This will help me out in supporting my family. This will help me out in getting an expensive jet ski and going out of the country. Like, find your motivation and keep that close with you. And just know that not everything is fast. Like, just because you study really, really hard for 2 hours doesn't mean that you deserve to go jet skiing. Like, you need to think that everything is very slow paced and that in due time, it will pay off. So keep that motivation with you. And I think that brings me to the end of this video. I don't know what else to say. I don't mean to get corny and I don't mean to get really strict or lame in certain aspects, but these are 10 tips that I seriously use in my day-to-day college life, and I believe that these 10 tips are how I got a 4.0 and how I will continue to do my best in getting a 4.0. And getting 4.0 is not everything. You can get a 3.5 or even a 3.0 and still get 95% of the same job opportunities that a 4.0 student can get. So really, I should title this video, How to Best Succeed in College, but it just sounds better saying a 4.0. I guess that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any other tips that you want to throw down in the comment sections, feel free, and hopefully everyone can have a discussion. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.